That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 106 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back to bring the spooky, wacky, weird, strange, and I don't know. What I don't want to give away my story. I'll say Hollywood.
Secretive?
I'll say Hollywood.
All right.
But before we get into our longer stories, we will catch you up on any of the news you may have missed. And David, this story, I love this story. It's a little bit of everything. There's horniness. There's rats.
Oh.
That's it. So,
what more could you need?
So, wife bites off husband's penis after he refuses to get rat out of bedroom.
Holy shit.
So
that is just like a really drastic sentence. And I'm not talking like the wording, the grouping of words. I'm saying like she sentenced him to losing his penis because he would not remove the rat. His penis the rat?
It was not. So
okay.
So apparently this guy named Abraham Muzanda, he probably doesn't want his full name in there, but I said it. He's 52 and he was married to a woman by the name of Makupa, and they live in the Zambian town of Kitwe. And apparently, they are separated, but they live under the same roof. And you know what I say? That's a recipe to get your penis bitten off.
Yeah.
But she claimed the animal was pestering her. So apparently she came home after a few drinks with some pals, and she found the rat near the bed. And the bed. Oh wait, what? Oh my God, I fucked this up.
Of course you did.
She claimed the animal was pestering her and became infuriated when she came home from drinks with pals to find the rat near the bed. So I was right.
Okay.
So she was unable to sleep because the rodent kept fucking with her. And she's like, get up and get this rat out of the bed. And apparently he started arguing with her. She started arguing with him. They got into a scuffle, and she managed to sink her teeth into his genitals, causing a major tear. See, I don't know what a major tear consists of.
I'm not sure I want to know.
Me neither. But imagine just the rat in the room being like, what the fuck just happened? I'm getting the fuck
out of here.
I just love it that the rat's near the bed and the husband's like, let it chill there. I don't care enough about that.
Gives a shit.
They must have so many rats if he's just like cool with that rat. Any normal person's like, fuck this. I'm not going back to sleep with a rat right there.
God, I mean, spending time in LA, there's people that have had cockroaches in their apartment, and then there's liars. And I've seen situations at like farmhouses when there's like mice, or like out in the wilderness or more remote areas where there's mice. But I could not imagine having a legitimate rat in your house because they can be big.
I mean,
a small rat is still big.
I bet people in New York have like rats.
New York rats are massive though.
Yeah, I know exactly, but like, there's so many of them there. It's like it's inevitable, right?
But when you think about it, how small a New York apartment is to how big a New York rat is, there's no way you don't know you have a rat when it takes up an eighth of your apartment.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of cockroaches, I was the designated cockroach killer in my apartment because.
Well, I don't buy that because I've witnessed you jump on a fucking stool and scream like a 50s cartoon housewife.
I'm allowed to be scared and kill cockroaches with no mercy. There's a reason why I wanted to kill them with no mercy is because they humiliated me.
Yeah.
But I got my chancla out and I went after them. I've sniped a cockroach with my chancla. I've done it.
I hit one with a hammer once, and it didn't die.
Oh. They're hard-headed.
Oh
No,
yeah.
you have to like really. There's something so visceral about crunching a cockroach too. It's like
Oh, it's a
you
distinct
have
sound.
a shoe. Yeah, you have a shoe on, and you still like you still
feel it. You feel it in your
still feel
bones.
everything about it. Yeah, exactly. They feel it in their exoskeleton.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have bones, but no, it's so gross. You don't want to even kill it because then you're just like, ooh, it touched my shoe, and I have to bring that fucking into my house or walk around with it, and touch it in my car. It's like it's just nasty. Cockroaches are gross. Also, the name. I think they just got fucked from the start. Cockroach is the grossest name.
Yeah, it's about the worst.
Yeah.
I was
Anyway,
mind blown
so-
when I left my apartment for 5 months when I was in Montana, and when we went back to move out, we didn't have a single cockroach in our entire place. We cleaned everything out. We didn't find a single one. We were gone. We abandoned that place for 5 months, and not a single one.
Well, you're not going to find the cockroach. The trick is to look for the cockroach poop. Which
We didn't
is
see any.
disgusting.
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
And even sometimes you'll find
Okay.
like a dead cockroach in the shower because they get stuck in the porcelain.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
nothing.
Yeah.
I even left an
yeah.
entire Subway footlong out. They didn't touch it.
Was it
Chicken bacon
provolone and
ranch.
Swiss? They hate provolone and Swiss. Well, those are just two cheeses.
Do you want it toasted?
Fat
No.
ass cheese.
No.
Fat ass cheese sandwich for the cockroaches. They're like, where's the beef?
Well, they don't
Okay,
eat the
next
beef
story.
because Subway beef is 96% cockroach.
They don't want to be cannibals. Wait, next story. I'm done talking about cockroach meat. I just said cannibal meat.
You thought
Jesus
you were
Christ.
done talking about cockroach meat, but my story,
No.
man arrested for going through Taco Bell drive-thru naked, said his clothes were in the washer. I've never understood, how do people wash every single article of clothing? How are you not wearing something?
What are you talking about? I've been close. I had to give my ex-roommate Chris, shout out Chris, I had to give him a pair of old boxers because all of his underwear was dirty.
Well, he's just a dirty boy.
Everybody has like a laundry day pair of underwear. Mine are like these big fucking boxers that like go, the big boxers, the big pair you have that go down to your knees, and you're like, what the fuck? These are like,
because you've had them for 12 years and the elastics shit itself.
there's holes in them.
Yeah.
They're horrible,
Yeah.
But I just like keep them. They're yours now. I don't want them.
Yeah.
He gave them back, and I'm like, these smell like cockroach meat. What the fuck? Anyway, that's what did he order? I want to know what he ordered.
I don't think we're going to get that detail.
That's fair.
I'm going to guess he got a
but-
chalupa.
Speaking of Taco Bell meat, Diner spikes his own food with pubic hair to try and get a free meal.
It's just like the finger at Chili's.
It's we're really connecting all these stories.
Yeah.
Cockroach meat, Taco Bell. There's probably some pubic hair in it, but apparently this guy or these two guys, they came into this John's barbecue. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Spell it.
Jaan. John.
It might be
John.
yawn.
Jan's barbecue kitchen restaurant. He went in there and apparently they ordered like this fat ass plate, which was like over $60 or something like that, or maybe it's more than that. I don't know the conversion of. This is a pound. What is this pound? What's the upside down L with the candy cane at the top with the line through the?
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what he paid this John's Mega Platter in. Is 55 of those.
Okay, it might be
And
euros.
It serves 6 people, and the guy was like, "I don't think you should get this. It serves 6 people." And the guy's like, "No, we'll get it. It's okay." And then their bill came, and they were like super pissed about their bill. And the guy's like, "I'm not paying this. I found hairs in my food." And they check the CCTV, and they show him literally putting his hand down the
Oh my
and
god.
plucking pubes and putting them in his food.
No shame.
Oh my god. It's pretty. I don't know.
You know what?
I don't know where I stand on
I
this.
gotta say though,
It's a nice garnish.
all of our news stories are gonna be connected here.
Oh no, what is it?
For Goop Team, smelling Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina was just another day in the office.
Does it smell like a pot full of peppers?
I
As
get
in
what you're going
pepper
with.
pots?
I don't like it.
Is that still too gross? Tony's like, we're in too deep, guys. We need to get out of here.
So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with Goop, Goop, it is Gwyneth Paltrow's snake oil company that sells a bunch of bullshit. And they sold a candle that apparently smelt like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina, which was a very fashionable candle, cased in a.
It's bullshit. That candle's supposed to like smell like bergamot or some shit like that, like bergamot and citrus and like other like weird shit. And it's like, did she actually just like everybody get down here and smell my vagina and then like metaphor that into some flavors that you picked up? I'm picking up some coffee, maybe a little roasted pepper in there. I don't like. What do you? I don't get it.
If your vagina smells like this candle, you need to see a gynecologist. But yes, the beautiful candle comes sealed in a nice black, very hip glass candle container with a big old white label that says, "This smells like my vagina."
That's what we call in the candle game an accent piece, a conversation starter.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where you can fucking put that and not have somebody go, "Don't light that fucking candle near me." Like, I don't know, like.
Well, her whole idea was to end the stigma around female sexuality, which is great. But also, I feel like you could have gone a better route with that and not make it about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't plan to light any candles. This smells like my bitten off penis.
Your dangler?
Right? No, I will not do that. I refuse to buy any candles. I stick with Glade Apple Cinnamon. That is my go-to
Oh,
candle.
wow. I don't know if I have a go-to. I mean, you can't go wrong with just a classic vanilla.
That's true.
Can't go wrong.
But I think we're all caught up on all these news stories, so let's just get into our longer stories that we have for you today.
I also want to address something real quick, though.
Oh, God.
It's nothing too bad. I just know in the last episode, there were a few kind of fuck-ups on my end, and that was a faulty power source to my microphone. And so hopefully this episode works better, because I don't want to stay up until 2 a.m. editing every single tidbit, and I hope that it's a listenable thing. So if there are a few fuck-ups, I apologize. I'm still trying to figure it out after the move. Just want to address that. PSA.
Okay, well, now that we got that covered.
Oh, also. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. Also, buy my cockroach meat. So, now, David, recently the whole talk of the podcast is about how you moved to Oregon and abandoned me, which is fine. I'm not upset. I promise I don't make sock puppets that look like you and then do things to said sock puppets that result in me having to burn said sock puppets in a dumpster out back.
Okay.
Do you have anything to say about this?
Nothing. Got nothing for you.
But what a lot of people didn't know is that I moved too, but only a couple miles. But in my recent research, I have found that I live only a couple miles away from a very interesting house that was involved in a quadruple murder back in the 80s.
Oh, fuck. I thought you were about to talk about the Brady Bunch.
I do live near the Brady Bunch. We don't know if there were murders there or not.
How did that show end?
Murder.
Oh, okay.
How many kids were there? A quince murder. Wait, what's
Let's
six?
just go with a bundle.
I think they got Alice too.
And that damn dog.
The damn dog. The damn dog knocked over all the vases in the house, damn dog. Anyway, like I said, quadruple murder in the 80s. A murder that makes the LaBianca Tate murders, or the Manson family murders, as some people like to call them, seem like child's play. That's right. Today I will be discussing the Wonderland Murders. It's a very misleading name for these murders because Wonderland just sounds so nice, or a creepy theme park, which it's neither.
Well, I'm thinking of Neverland Ranch. Never mind.
Oh, there's murders that happen there for sure.
Probably.
Right? At least murdering some childhoods, right?
Or careers.
True. So before we get into what happened at the Wonderland house, we must first figure out the key players and the events that took place just 2 days before the murders that led to the murders. You see, the house at 8763 Wonderland Avenue was well known in Hollywood during the early 80s because of one thing in particular: drugs. So
Hell yeah.
You see, the Wonderland house quickly became known for two things: drugs and the people who sold the drugs, the Wonderland Gang, which is a not very intimidating name for a gang. I would have went with something else.
Yeah.
Like the
Could be better.
like the face slappers.
Good one.
We'll slap you in the face, motherfucker. We won't leave any visible marks, but man, will it be red for the next 27 minutes. So, the Wonderland Gang was feared all through LA during the late 70s and early 80s, and the mastermind behind the gang, Ron Lanius, let's call him Lanius. Ron Lanius was the most feared out of all of them. You see, Ron got his start in the drug business when he first came back from the Vietnam War and was busted for smuggling heroin back in the corpses of dead American soldiers.
Oh,
That's not a good look, Ron.
I gotta say, out of a lot of them, that's a bad one.
It's probably the worst look I've ever heard.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's really not good.
I don't know how to salute you. I'll salute you upside down with my left hand, you motherfucker. So, just to get an idea of what type of guy Ron was, at the time of his eventual death, police suspected that Ron was involved in over 27 open homicide cases as well.
Nice.
And Ron's buddy David Lind also once said that you could put a gun to his head and his pulse would never break 70. So
I was just trying to think of, like, I don't even know if that's impressive. I'm not a pulse guy. I am a man of science, but once you say pulse, I'm falling asleep. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get you. I couldn't tell you that either, but I would assume just by, I'm a gun guy though. Just by, I'm a putting
70 guns sounds like a lot.
I'm a putting a gun to a person's head kind of guy, and I can tell you they freak out every time. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So the rest of the Wonderland Gang consisted of Billy Deverell, Deverell's girlfriend, Joy Miller, Tracy McCourt, and David Lynn, who all lived in the house together. The story starts in a strange way as we bring in legendary porn star John Holmes into the picture. Do you know John Holmes, David?
No, I honestly do not know.
Well, he had a huge schlong because I had to Google
I
him, and I was like,
so.
"Oh, that's all the yep. Okay, that's yep."
You
that's
should
him.
you should have said John Holmes headshot. Actually, you know what? That probably would have been bad too.
What about John Holmes' money shot? What does that bring up?
No.
Okay, not that one either. Okay.
No.
So in 1981, Holmes had become desperately addicted to freebasing cocaine. Hell yeah.
Wait, what does that mean? What does freebasing mean?
It means he used to jump out of a plane while doing cocaine.
Fuck yeah.
No, he used to. I think it's when like you light it on fire with like a lighter, and then you breathe in the fumes.
What the fuck? That's a thing?
I think it's like it's supposed to be like a less invasive thing, because if you do like cocaine through the nose and like you mess up your sinuses, if you rub it on your gums, it could have like gum damage. So it's like, I don't really know. Maybe it's like a more casual way of doing it. I could be wrong. I don't even know, because I definitely don't freebase cocaine with John Holmes's ghost.
This is not a good thing to Google, but I'm gonna. I googled freebasing cocaine, and the number one link is National Helpline. Oh
It brings me
shit!
to John Holmes's website.
Yeah, I'm on a list.
Are you gonna have him find a YouTube video? What are you looking up? Drugs for dummies?
Freebasing cocaine is the process of freeing the cocaine base from the salt form in which cocaine is naturally found, while crack cocaine is produced by mixing the original cocaine with a combination of water and baking soda. Freebase cocaine comes from using ammonia to extract the base. So it's just a different form?
Oh, I don't. Okay. Well, I guess it's a good look that I didn't even know what it was. I should have Googled it, but I didn't.
Oh, here we go. Freebasing cocaine, typically it involves using a small glass pipe like a crack pipe.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's a more natural form of consuming cocaine.
Why'd they even write this in here? There's, I know I wrote it, but I got it from a
not
website,
important.
and they're like, he's addicted to freebasing cocaine. He's addicted to cocaine. Just write cocaine.
Yeah.
And as a result, his career had declined due to chronic impotence.
No, that's gonna happen to you.
So what happens when God gives you a big schlong, but you want to just freebase all the cocaine? You just wasted it. You wasted it.
You think it's because of heart damage and his heart couldn't pump enough blood to fill that nasty hog up?
You know what? I am a man of science, but freebasing cocaine to the wiener is not something I covered in medical school.
No? Okay. Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
You have to go to the Christian Scientist for that one.
Yeah.
So, Holmes' seller, though, who sold him all that cocaine to freebase, was none other than Ron Leanis. Fuck, I can't say his last name.
Ron Leanis?
Is
Are these all aliases? Are these all porn aliases?
It's Launius. Lanius. It's Ramianus, I think his name is.
Oh no.
So Ron Lanius, whatever. Ron Lanius was his
real name.
I don't know. So that was his dealer.
It's like we're on the Gwar episode again.
Exactly. So in order to settle a substantial debt with Ron, feared leader of the Wonderland gang, Holmes helped the gang plan an invasion against a rival drug dealer and nightclub owner, Eddie Nash. So instead of, because he couldn't pay off Ron, so he's like, man, I don't have any money to settle this debt. And Ron's like, okay, well, here's what you could do. You're friends with Eddie Nash. Help me set up this home invasion, and we'll just rob the fuck out of him, and that'll settle the debt. And he's like, okay, that's easier than paying you with my limp penis. So on June 29th, 1981, Holmes went to Nash's home on the morning of the attack to buy some drugs and hang out. Nash began to notice Holmes acting strange, as he kept leaving the sliding glass door to the house open when he would leave. He also thought it was strange how Holmes left and returned 3 times during the visit. So he would go over, open the sliding glass door, and be like, oh, I gotta leave. And then he'd come back and probably check on the sliding glass door and just be like, fuck, he closed it. So he'd be like, I think I left my freebasing crack pipe in here. And he would go open the door again and then leave again. So he did that 3 times. And he's like, he's acting fucking really weird. So
I feel like that's a good sign that you're about to get murdered or robbed.
You mean if the people you sell drugs to start acting weird?
And trying to leave a lesser seen entrance to your house open?
Oh, very true. I mean, if he was smart about it, he would have just went and unlocked a window. But the sliding glass door is so obvious. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know. So obviously he's probably on cocaine, so it's not making a lot of sense.
A little too confident.
So Holmes eventually left, but it wasn't long after when the Wonderland gang entered into Nash's home via the unlocked sliding door. They held Nash and his bodyguard at gunpoint and stole Nash's drugs, jewelry, and money. At one point during the robbery, one of the Wonderland gang members, their gun went off and it grazed Nash's bodyguard's face. So they almost just straight up shot a guy in the face.
Well, that's a shitty bodyguard. They got the jump on him.
I guess, but if you're Well, if you're one, I don't know the code of a bodyguard. Like, if 4 guys show up with guns and you're the bodyguard, do you fight them? Are you supposed to be? Because like, there's obviously a standard for like, the Secret Service that are supposed to protect the president, where like you have to take a bullet for him. But like, when it comes down to it, I feel like bodyguards of rich people are like glorified like big fat friends.
Are you trying to compare the president's Secret Service to a drug dealer's big friend?
No,
here?
I'm just saying I feel like there's not that firm of a contract with like an actual bodyguard to like a drug dealer compared to like somebody who's in the Secret Service who was hired by the government.
Yeah,
So
I
like
know.
you could just be like, I'm gonna sit here and let these guys just rob the fuck out of you. But
I'm gonna join in. Actually, I'm gonna try to get some more money.
He's like, fuck you, Nash. He starts like tearing up his couch. So,
My daughter's birthday's coming up, and she needs that My Pretty Pony.
so Holmes eventually, I said that he left. Oh, at one point, well, I guess the bodyguard got what he was getting. He got a bullet grazed to the face, so he learned his lesson. And then Nash was then made to beg for his life on his knees, an act that he found humiliating. I guess act that most people find humiliating. I don't think it's just you, Nash, buddy. So Nash quickly suspected John Holmes was involved in the robbery, and his suspicions were quickly confirmed after being told that numerous people had seen Holmes wearing some of his stolen jewelry like that day or like the next day. So he was just like rocking Nash's rings on his fingers and shit. And Nash has, eyes and ears all over the town. So it was like, yeah, I saw him wearing your rings. And people were like, oh shit. So legend has it that Scott Thorson, who was Liberace's former boyfriend, you know who Liberace is? I think he was like the singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Liberace's former boyfriend, who was in Nash's house to buy drugs, he claimed he witnessed Holmes being tied to a chair like a couple days later, and or actually like a day later, and repeatedly punched and his family threatened until he revealed the assailant's identity. And I'm guessing Holmes broke as we dive into the next part of our story. So like I said, that was leading up to the murders.
Okay.
That was 2 days before the murders. So now, on July 1st, 2 days after Nash was robbed, Rob Lanius, Billy Deverell, Joy Miller, and Barbara Richardson were found bludgeoned to death at their home at 8763 Wonderland Avenue in Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles.
Oh shit, I know Laurel
Officials-
Canyon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically one of the canyons that connects Hollywood to like the valley.
I used to have a boss
And-
that lived up there. I'd always go to their place to pick up gear and shit.
You know what's weird? I Googled the address, and it's like, it looks like kind of like an apartment. It looks like an apartment that like an old Russian woman would live in and like put too many plants on her balcony and to the point where like she hasn't moved the plants in ages, and they're just kind of like, they have like brown drip rings everywhere, and like it's just like over the top, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just death.
Grandma's dead in there. It's a jungle now.
She
There's
died
no
long
coming
before
out.
the plants.
The plants ate her. So, officials from the Los Angeles Police Department remarked that the Wonderland murders were particularly brutal, noting that the crime scene was bloodier than the Tate LaBianca murders, which was the Manson family murders. So, this was a more brutal crime. It just didn't have a crazy cult leader behind it, you know? So, Barbara Richardson's bloody body was found on the living room floor beside the couch where she had been sleeping that night. Joy Miller was found on her bed, with Billy Deverell at the foot of the bed in an upright position, leaning against the TV stand with a hammer found on the bed next to them. Ron Lanius was found beaten to death on his bed with his gravely injured wife, Susan, beside him on the floor. And both bedrooms had been thoroughly searched and ransacked, so they were robbed as well. And despite suffering severe brain damage in the attack, Susan, who was Ron's wife, ultimately survived and recovered, although she was left with permanent amnesia regarding the night of her attack and had to have part of her skull surgically removed, and she lost part of her one finger as well, which is very it seems like
brutal.
a scene out of a but it seems like a scene out of a movie where someone's like, what happened? You're like, I have amnesia about that night. And you're like, oh, how convenient. You're like, no, I actually have amnesia about that night.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So it's kind of crazy. So the murder weapons were suspected to be, like I said, the hammer that was found on the bed, but also apparently lead pipes,
Okay.
which is
A
like
classic.
oof, big clue, oof.
I feel like
you
that's like an
know?
old-timey weapon. People don't use the lead pipes as much now. I feel like that kind of went away in the 90s.
Well, nothing, because if you touch lead, it's bad. It's bad for you. You're not supposed to. You know, it's also bad for you. Murder.
Yeah, that's bad for everybody.
But like, you're not supposed to. This is before people knew that like you weren't supposed to like hold lead and you like seep through your skin.
You're not supposed to paint the line your walls with it.
But like also, the last time I think I heard of a lead pipe being used was like Nancy Kerrigan being kneecapped. You know, I think that was a lead pipe, or was that?
I'm pretty
was
sure.
that a lead pipe, or was it might have been one of those police batons, honestly.
I think it was a lead pipe.
Maybe. So the other members of the gang, David Lind and Tracy McCord, were actually both out doing drugs and were not home at the time of the murders. So they got spared. One was just out doing drugs with a prostitute, and the other one was, I think, at home doing drugs and then fell asleep. So
Both
80s.
sounds awesome.
You did the drugs, you ate a whole family-sized lasagna.
You don't need drugs to do that.
That is my drug. So
Lasagna is my drug. Put it on a shirt.
That's a shirt somewhere, and it's sold in a gas station. So Nash was believed to have planned the murders that were committed by 3 of his henchmen. Nash planned to kill John Holmes as well, but later decided to spare Holmes' life and use the Wonderland murders to teach Holmes a lesson. You see, Holmes later told his first wife, Sharon, he was forced to accompany 3 gunmen to the Wonderland Avenue home, and he claimed that he was then held at gunpoint and forced to watch the quadruple murders.
Oh, fuck that.
So I didn't even know John Holmes was there, but then he like told his wife in secret, he's like, yeah, they made me watch and shit like that. And then, it says right here, while police believe Holmes likely took part in the murders, Holmes would maintain that he never killed anyone. So Holmes actually might have like delivered some of the death blows or whatever.
Yeah.
But no one can confirm it. And although Holmes was never convicted of murder, he did get 110 days in jail of contempt of court. But he ended up serving his sentence and was released. But he died 6 years later because he had AIDS.
Oh,
because he was just having like so much sex during the 80s and everything like that. And
yeah, 80s sound cool, but then you always forget about that part.
yeah, exactly. So that was like crazy. But I don't even like. It's still like unknown if John Holmes murdered anybody or who the 3 henchmen were or the 3 gunmen were. Yeah. Because they were never caught as well. But a police search of Nash's home days after the murder revealed a large amount of cocaine. And Nash was sentenced to 8 years in prison because of that cocaine, but a judge released him after just 2, purportedly due to Nash's poor health. An associate, the judge was like, oh, you're kind of like sick because he's like a little bit older and he had like he had health problems, and he's like, okay, we'll like let you out after 2 years. But an associate of Nash later admitted that they had bribed the judge with $100,000. Like after Nash was dead and everything like that, they're like, oh yeah, we gave that guy $100,000.
I mean, and also that's a lot for the 80s too. Gotta consider that.
That's a lot for how much do judges get paid?
I think they get paid pretty well.
Yeah, but they have to spend all their money on that big robe because that's like, you know how like XXL shirts cost more on shirt websites?
It's more fabric.
Try the judge size.
And it's thicker fabric because it's all bulletproof and flame-proof.
Flame retarded. Bulletproof. Lasagna.
It can't freeze.
You could fly in it.
It is made of lead.
It's also like a turtle shell where you could tuck your arms and head into it and live inside of it, which is cool.
And a cartoon bullet will go through your big powdered wig.
There's a couch inside.
Yeah.
So in 1990, which was 10 years later, Nash was tried in state court for having planned the murders again. So I guess they got him on something else. They were like, oh, well, they didn't charge. Like, I don't really get how. I'm a man of science, not a man of law. And it seems like some people just get like charged for the same crimes. And obviously I get how that can happen, but I also don't know the minutia of it and be like, what are you charged? Like, oh, we charged him for quadruple murder this time. This time we're charging him for quadruple kidnapping. And you're like, okay, like I
For
get
the
what
people he
you're doing
murdered,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the trial resulted in an 11-1 hung jury, and Nash would later admit that he had bribed the lone holdout, a young woman, with $50,000, and the retrial ended in an acquittal. So basically, he just found one young chick and was like, "I'll give you $50,000 if you say I'm not guilty," and she took it, and which is again fucking crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
But Eddie Nash was a big old piece of shit because according to John Holmes' second wife, Lori, known as Misty Dawn in a Playboy magazine interview,
God,
very good porn star
80s
name.
were so horny.
Yeah, they were. But apparently, this is a quote. Eddie Nash was an awful man. John told me he used to leave the bathrooms without toilet paper, then offer the young women cocaine if they lick his ass clean.
What the fuck, man? You could have left that out.
No, that's a detail that we need about Eddie Nash. He's not a good guy.
All
But
right.
I also wonder
You say
if he
so.
took that deal. If anybody I had a whole family style lasagna when you come in.
Stop.
What? Why? Why are you freaking out now?
It's too much.
Are you
You're,
uncomfortable?
you're taking it too far.
Okay. So, although people Oh yeah, you googled freebasing cocaine, but I can't say someone said the ass lick thing. Okay.
I guess they're both science questions, so I'll let it slide.
I thought you were a horny man. How dare you? Anyway. So
every
although
man has a limit to their horniness.
their breaking point. So, although people labeled Nash as the one who got away, in 1995, in a broad series of raids targeting alleged organized crime figures, federal agents armed with search warrants raided Nash's house and confiscated what was thought to be a cache of methamphetamine. And to the chagrin of law enforcement, the meth actually turned out to be a cache of mothballs, and no charges were filed against Nash. So now at this point, he's kind of like fucking. He's like really old, but he's like fucking with the cops at this point. He's like, I'm probably like, he's probably rich enough. He's probably like doesn't have any drugs in his house because he knows he's being watched now, and he's old and you can't hide him in time.
I'm not gonna ruin your community with meth. I'm going to ruin your community by destroying all your clothes with mothballs.
No, that's how you protect the clothes. He was actually a hero in the community.
I thought mothballs were what they put in your clothes to fuck it up.
No, you put mothballs in your closet to keep moths away. Actually, fun fact, if you go up to like Yosemite or a place with like a lot of bears, you're supposed to leave mothballs on your tires because bears won't come fuck with your car if you do that.
Huh.
Because they're really like pungent smelling. Have you ever smelled a mothball before?
Well, I didn't know what the fuck they were a second ago, so no, I haven't smelled one.
I thought you were smelling them, and then you're just like, man, if I was a moth, I'd be all over these balls.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But don't worry, because they eventually did get him on RICO charges, which would stand for Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, which was a new law they introduced in order to take down the New York Italian mob scene, if you didn't know. I watched a documentary on it.
And Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, that's what they used? They used RICO charges on him?
I know they got him for racketeering.
Oh, it's probably that law. Like they introduced it like at the time in like the 80s. And they actually ended up getting him for money laundering, drug trafficking, conspiracy to commit murder. See, not even murder. They're just like, you thought about it. So
are you sure you're not talking about 6ix9ine right now?
Actually, maybe. But conspiracy to commit murder and bribery. But since he was so old and had health problems, he decided to cooperate with law enforcement authorities, and in exchange, he received a 4.5-year prison sentence and a $250,000 fine. In the end, we may never know what truly happened that night since all parties involved are now dead, except for one person, Susan Leanis. Leanis.
Damn it, man. This
Susan
isn't a real
Linus.
name.
So Susan Lannis, who was the wife of Kingpin Ron Leanis, and she survived that night and is still alive today. But as you remember, she suffers from amnesia from the event, so I guess it's fair to say it shall forever be a mystery. So they never figured out who the three men were who committed the actual murders, and like Nash got off on it until 1995 or something like that, and then served 4.5 years, which is like the shortest quadruple murder sentence ever.
Yeah.
Well, like Charles Manson got like life imprisonment, and then this guy just was like, he had money and like power, so he was able to stretch that into 25 more years and then a 4.5 year sentence.
Yeah, I think the
Like-
difference was Charlie put a swastika in his forehead. That one's hard to get out of prison with.
He didn't do that until he was in prison.
Yeah.
Man, he was such a beautiful musician.
I love that
he
video
did,
of him dancing.
Do you call that dancing?
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, he was actually friends with like the Beach Boys, and he tried to get like a record deal. Very similar to like the whole Hitler thing, where he tried to be like an artist,
Yeah.
and it didn't work out. And he fucking lost it. So
I saw
very,
this. I found this really weird Hitler painting the other day, and
how'd you find that, buddy?
I think it was on Reddit, and it was like a really strange, kind of creepy painting. And I showed it to Riley, my fiance, and I was like, this is kind of cool. What do you think about this? And she's like, ew, that's fucking creepy. Don't show me that. And she's like, why are you showing me this? I was like, oh, I was just gonna see if you thought Hitler's paintings were cool. And she's like, no, it's fucking weird.
Oh, I thought it was a painting of Hitler.
No.
And you were showing her and being like, "Isn't this cool?" And then she's like, "No, it's not fucking cool, David." Like, that was like a self-portrait. I'm
No.
like, okay.
No, it was like two like creepy shadow people in like an endless hallway.
I think he has like, that might not even have been him. I think he painted pictures of like ponds and shit like that.
No, it was on the internet. It had to have been real.
Good point. Anyway, that's my story. I live pretty close to it, so pretty weird. And they said that in I also read like a little fun fact that in 2008 you could rent the entire house for $3,000 a month.
That's actually
Which
not
is-
bad at all in LA. Holy shit.
No, for LA that's super fucking cheap, but that's
Yeah.
also 2008. I would guess it was probably like 5.5 now to rent
If
that
not,
whole house. for
if
a month.
not doubled.
I don't know how many bedrooms, but
Yeah.
it's probably a lot.
Yep. Okay, so I'll start my story here, and I've got an interesting story here today. And
Was mine not, motherfucker?
I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying my last one sucked. I honestly don't even. It's been such a long week. I don't even remember what the last subject I talked about was. I have no idea.
Me neither, actually.
Just mashed potatoes up there. So, got an interesting story here today that is begging for a screenplay. And this is about a group of talented individuals named the Avengers. Doesn't have a good
Wait.
ring to it.
I smell box office gold.
Well,
Are you gonna explain to us the whole Marvel universe now? You're like, so there's this guy. He's got a hammer. He wasn't involved in any murders. He's from Asgard.
I think
okay?
he's killed a few people.
Oh, he has.
At least a few frost
frost
giants. Whoa. Oh. So, well, this group of Avengers has a small resemblance to the well-known Marvel Avengers, and that is this group, much like Captain America, started with hunting those nasty Nazis.
Ooh.
Now, I know I've mentioned this before in previous episodes, that I have a strong opinion when it comes to Nazis. And that's that they fucking suck. Old and new, if you're a modern day Nazi, you can fuck off and figure your shit out.
I'm just gonna say it, okay? I don't even care if this is controversial.
yeah.
I don't like Nazis.
You guys can get upset. You guys can boycott us if you want, but I'm gonna say
You guys can stomp your feet and fucking pull out your hair. I fucking hate Nazis.
Yeah, drop your little
Fucking
ice
write
cream
it down.
cone and ride your tricycle away. We hate Nazis.
Deal with it.
So we got a little feisty there, but I'll go back to the story.
Okay.
In 1945, there was a group of about 50 Holocaust survivors who formed a group that would be called Nakam, which I have zero knowledge or education on the pronunciation in the language of Hebrew, but this word Nakam translates to the English word avenge, which would also be known as the Avengers.
I think it's pronounced Leanus.
You stop that. You son of a bitch.
I'm done.
And these Avengers had one goal, and that was to hunt down and kill Nazis. So
Isn't that like that show that just came out on Amazon? I haven't seen it yet, but it's like with Al Pacino.
I don't think so. That show does look very intriguing. What's that called? Hunters?
Yes. I want to see it.
Yeah, it looks cool. So during the Holocaust, Nazi Germany and its allies and collaborators murdered around 6 million innocent Jewish people using a variety of brutal methods like mass shootings and gassing them. Many survivors lost their entire families and communities that they grew up with and had a difficult time with trying to return to what lives they had before losing the ones they loved. I mean, obviously none of this is news to you. If it is, holy shit. But yeah.
I was gonna say, David, you keep talking. There's no jokes in this area. You keep talking, buddy.
Yeah. I don't need to go.
I don't even
into...
want to breathe. I don't want to breathe into the mic. So I don't want somebody to be like, "Was that a laugh? Like, what the fuck is he saying?" Like, I'm just holding my breath over here. I feel sick.
Yeah, no surprise. Nazi Germany did horrific things to people who were completely innocent and did not deserve any of it. But I just had to cover that because it's obviously a big part of the story. So people find many ways to cope with loss after horrific experiences like these, and for some, revenge is the only cure for how they feel. And
I mean, avenge.
They wanted to get revenge.
They wanted to get avenge.
They wanted to get avenged.
I don't know the difference between revenge and avenge.
Well, an avenger gets revenge.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, when somebody goes like, avenge me, that's a word like revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge me.
It's the same shit.
Guess not. Stupid. I'm going to Google it.
It's just another way of saying it, you dingus. So,
avenge is to inflict harm in return for an injury or wrong done to oneself or another. I guess that's kind of like revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like I was saying, and a trend of revenge against the long list of Nazi war criminals or even the German people as a general was a widespread belief among the Jewish people after World War II. So from late 1942, as news from the Holocaust arrived to Jewish newspaper Mandatory Palestine, there was lots of listings for retribution. One of the leaders of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising was Yitzhak Zuckerman, who said he didn't know a Jew who wasn't obsessed with revenge. So, yeah.
If anybody got away, I would be like, fucking, like, I'm finding them.
Well, you can go look at NASA.
Yeah, Oppenheimer. You're right. Fuck.
So before we move on...
Well, we need to get to the moon for all the cheese. That one's okay, I guess.
There could be oil up there.
How are we going to get all the cheese on the moon? We don't get to let the Nazi fly his rocket up there.
So before we move on, because I think it's important, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was the 1943 act of a Jewish resistance in the Warsaw Ghetto, obviously, because that's what it's called, in German-occupied Poland during World War II to oppose Nazi Germany's final effort to transport the remaining ghetto population to Majdanek and Treblinka. Those are two places. we're not familiar with.
They're concentration camps.
Yeah, death camps. And
I watched the whole thing about Treblinka and Vlad the Terrible or something like that. It was really interesting. I forgot what the documentary's called. But.
Yeah. So one of the Jewish people figured out what was going on, and they came to take them like out of the ghetto. And the remaining people started to build bunkers and smuggle weapons and explosives into the ghetto to build and train a militia who successfully fought off the Nazi forces who arrived to claim their lives. A story that also probably deserves a film if it hasn't been done yet, and could probably be an entire episode topic in itself, because it's pretty badass. So back to the story. Although Zuckerman said he didn't know a single Jew who wasn't obsessed with revenge on the Nazi army, very few survivors acted on this idea to get together and settle the debt, because many of the people were too concentrated and would rather start rebuilding their lives and rebuilding their communities post-war, which is fair. You know?
Yeah, who would want to be like, oh, we just went through like hell. Let's go like try to track down somebody and maybe possibly get killed in the process. It's like,
yeah.
People were just happy to be alive and not in those situations anymore. It's like
exactly.
You know.
So Israeli historian Dina Porat estimated that about 200 to 250 Holocaust survivors attempted to exact violent revenge, which Nakam, aka the Avengers, was a significant portion of those people, including assassinations carried out by Mossad. These operations claimed the lives of as many as 1,000 to 1,500 people.
Wait, these Avengers killed over 1,000 people?
No, so there was about 200 to 250 people altogether who were Holocaust survivors who made it a point to try to hunt down like old Nazi soldiers and stuff and kill them. So they're saying that it's believed to be somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 people.
Oh, that's how many got away.
Well, that's how many people were killed by Jewish people after World War II as retribution.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I originally assumed. Okay.
Yeah. So in 1945, there was a man named Kovner, and after visiting the site of the Paneri massacre and the termination camp at Madanik, I'm not saying that right, and meeting survivors of Auschwitz in Romania, decided to take revenge, and that's when he started to recruit about 50 Holocaust survivors, mostly former Jewish partisan, but including a few who escaped the Soviet Union. So this is where the Avengers start to like build. Mm-hmm. So these 50 people were recruited for their ability to live undercover and not break character, revealing their identity. Most of these people were mostly in their 20s and hailed from, here we go, Vilnius, Rovno, Czestochowa, and Krakow. I do one of those.
Okay.
Generally known as Nakam for revenge, the group was also known as the name Din, which translates to English meaning judgment. And one of the other nicknames was Dam Yisrael Noter, meaning the blood of Israel avenges in English.
Whoa.
Yeah. Pretty badass.
Damn.
So the group members believed that the defeat of Nazi Germany did not mean that the Jews were safe from another Holocaust-level genocide. Kovner believed that a proportional revenge killing 6 million Germans was the only way to teach enemies of the Jews that they could not act with impurity, saying the act should be shocking. The Germans should know that after Auschwitz, there can be no return to normality.
Oh my God.
Which is pretty actually hardcore. At the beginning, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then he's like, we're going to kill 6 million German people.
Yeah, and you're like, what about women and children and innocents and innocent people? And there's like, well, like
they killed ours.
I get the anger behind it. Exactly. It's like, well, we were innocent. Like they have to lose innocent casualties too. But like also like, you know, I don't know. It's tough. I don't want to tell people not to feel a certain way because I didn't go through that.
Exactly.
So, like, I get it, but I also was like, ugh.
It kind of puts you in a pickle.
I'm in a real kosher pickle right now.
Yeah. So, according to survivors, Kovner's hypnotic, persuasive words to the emotions that they were feeling, he was one hell of a salesman. Members of the group believed that the laws of the time were unable to adequately punish such an extreme event as the Holocaust, and that the complete moral bankruptcy of the world could only be cured with a catastrophic retribution of violence. So Porat hypothesized that Nakam was, quote, a necessary stage before the embitterment of survivors would be prepared to return life of society and laws. So the group's leaders formed two plans of how they're going to kill 6 million Germans, or at least start that long list of numbers. Plan A, to kill a large number of Germans, and Plan B, to poison several thousand SS prisoners held in the United States prisoner war camps.
That sounds like a better plan to me.
Well, they just might do both. So Joseph Harmatz, posing as a Polish displaced person named Mayim Mendeli, attempted to infiltrate the municipal water supply in Nuremberg, and
yeah.
And Nakam, the group, targeted the city because it had been the stronghold of the Nazi Party. Harmatz had a difficult time finding rooms for the conspirators to rent due to the housing shortage caused by the destruction of most of the city by Allied bombings. So they're having a hard time like getting in there to like actually make a plan and to find the water source, because they were going to poison the whole water source to kill everybody.
Oof.
So through lots of bribing, the Avengers gained the plan for the water system, like the blueprints basically of the water system, and control of the main water valve, and made a plan of how they were going to poison, how they were planning to plant like the poison and kill the largest amount of Germans as they could. So the deed of obtaining the poison fell to Kovner. And in July of 1945, Kovner left the Jewish Brigade for Milan, disguising himself as a Jewish Brigade soldier on leave, and boarded a ship for Palestine the following month, where he stayed for 3 days while negotiating with Haganah chiefs in hopes of convincing them to give him the needed poison for the revenge operation, promising that the poison would never be traced back to the supplier.
I hate poison negotiations.
They're so hard.
They're so toxic. Oh, I hate them.
No one can just decide on one thing.
I hate when like you're trying to negotiate poison and there's like one guy in like the back freebasing poison. And you're like, stop freebasing poison. You're supposed to sell it, not dip into your own supply of poison, you fucking idiot.
He's got this little glass pipe.
His eyes are bleeding.
It's been dead for 3 days.
This is some good shit. He's been dead for 3 days.
So in September, Kovner informed Nakam in Europe that he had not had any success in his negotiations. So he said they needed to recruit a chemist who would construct a new poison to use. Eventually, Kovner was introduced to siblings named Ephraim and Aaron Katzer, two chemists at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. The Katzers were in and just need to convince the head of the chemical storage at their university to turn their head the opposite direction as the poison disappeared.
They're like, what college could we go to where there's chemists that will definitely give us the poison? They're like, the Hebrew College in Jerusalem? Like, yeah, that one's going to give us the poison.
Well, that's where they went, so they probably knew the guy already. Or lady,
or
I guess.
That's just like the best place to go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to know somebody there, right?
Yeah. Everybody,
Who's your poison guy?
everybody's got a poison guy. My guy's
Who's
his
your
name's
poison?
Ralph. He lives in a tent down the street.
My guy's name's Loose Larry. He lives in a hot air balloon.
So, after several dead ends in his hunt for the sweet, sweet poison, Kovner traveled to Alexandria, Egypt, carrying false identification papers and a friggin' duffel bag with gold hidden in toothpaste tubes, and cans full of poison.
Oh my god, is this the story about how the first grill was made?
Sir, why do you have 18 tubes of toothpaste weighing 60 pounds?
Rob the jewelry store, tell him make me a grill. Ding, dong,
Oh,
ding, ding.
that's where you're
That's
going.
grills.
I really had no idea where you were going with that.
Paul Wall, baby.
What is?
I'm talking Nelly Grill,
I feel like
baby.
no one's really addressed how strange the whole Paul Wall thing was.
I saw Skinny Paul Wall perform live. I didn't know he was going to be there. I didn't buy Paul Wall tickets.
Don't lie.
Paul Wall's my poison guy.
You wore a shirt that said "Balls to the Wall" for Paul Wall.
Okay, I have to
It was
ask.
a crop top.
Is he white?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
He's just like super southern Texas, so there's like,
Yeah, he's
dude,
Houston.
this guy's crazy. Just let him do whatever the fuck he wants. Look at him.
Hey, he's got that
But I saw
great song on Kanye's first album.
Nope.
No,
I
okay.
don't know that one.
Alright.
Is it called "Where's My Poison At"?
Yeah.
Baby. Okay.
He's almost as
I
good
know
as
one.
OJ to Juice Man.
Almost as good as O.J. Simpson.
Oh. So as Kovner and three other Avengers, Avenger members were on their boat ride because they were sneaking on boats. All four members had their names announced over the public address system, like on the boat, being like, "We need to see
wait,
these people."
Can we clarify what the members right now? We got Paul Wall. We got O.J. the Juice Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got 2003 Lil Wayne and a wife beater, and we got
And Kovner.
Jay-Z.
No, it's just
in
Kovner.
Oversized. Oh, and Kovner.
Yeah, you only had three to make the joke, and you blew it.
Ah, fuck. And Nelly.
And Nelly.
He went by Nelly.
I remember Nelly came to Eugene and did a show, and he played pickup ball at the athletic club, and that was like the biggest news to hit the town of Eugene in the 2000s.
Did you catch his Band-Aid when he threw it into the crowd?
You know, I wasn't there, but I had one of my sister's high school classmates played with him, and I guess he never let that down. He probably still talks about it. Yeah.
Nelly was his poison guy.
Remember when they caught Nelly on his tour bus with like 30 pounds of meth?
Are you joking?
No, that's a real fucking thing.
God.
He had like an insane amount of drugs.
Was he with John Holmes?
Probably.
Anyway, continue.
So the guys were on the boats, trying to sneak all the poison and everything, and there was like a public announcement, address system thing. They called over the intercoms saying they were looking for these people, called them by their real names, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we're busted." So Kovner attempted to throw his poison off the boat and turn himself into the police. Unfortunately, he missed some of the poison and still had about half of it on him. He would spend 2 months in jail in Egypt and ended his involvement with Nakam after being released. So he's out.
The trick is to not have just under the amount of poison, like, so you don't want to be like caught like, I'm not selling poison. This is my personal poison, you know?
Like weed.
Yeah, like weed, like intent to sell
And a scale.
Intent to sell poison. I have just under the amount.
Yeah. So plan A's out. Poison in the water system. It's just not going to work. They can't get the poison, for God's sakes.
He threw half of it in the water and he fucking keistered the rest of it. Now he's feeling sick.
So yeah, he poisoned the wrong water source. He poisoned the ocean, not the water lines. And so this takes us to Plan B, because Kovner's failure to deliver the poison that they needed, they decided to go to Plan B and attack prisoners. So in October of 1945, a man named Yitzhak Ratner took on the task of developing a new poison using the NACAM headquarters in Paris. He tested various formulas in order to find a tasteless, odorless poison that would have delayed effects, which is just insane to think about. Like, what if someone just gave you that task? Like, all right, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, and it needs to kill people in 30 minutes. Or after 30 minutes.
Who tests that?
Oh, I'll tell you who tests it.
He's like, this poison tastes like... Ugh. They're like, oh, man, he didn't say whether it had a taste or not.
Were you timing it? Shit, how long was that? So, Ratner would eventually make a mixture of arsenic, glue, and other additives. I wonder if it's illegal to, like, give the exact, like, easy to make concoction at home.
I heard in Fight Club they actually they had to change the recipe for napalm because he says like he knows how to make napalm and he says it's like soap and something else. And then I saw like a thing behind the scenes and they're like, we had to change the actual recipe for napalm because we didn't want like kids to see the movie and then go try to make it at home.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know
if it's illegal, but it's like an ethical thing.
Yeah. And so they made this poison which would be painted onto loaves of bread.
Whoa.
Yeah, and to test it, they used it on cats to prove its lethalness, those sick fucks.
Oh, well.
So they killed a bunch of cats.
Technically, you don't have to make the poison tasteless at this point. All you have to do is make it taste like bread.
Well, the idea is they eat as much bread as possible and then they fucking die.
Yeah, but just paint it on bread. Does it taste like bread?
What does bread taste like?
Oh, that's like asking what gum tastes like.
What does gum taste like?
Gum.
So NACAM focused their attack on Langwasser internment camp near Nuremberg, where 15,000 prisoners, mostly former SS officers or prominent Nazis, were being held captive by the US of A.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was gonna say, I was like, wait. I thought these were prisoners held by the USA, but they were in Nuremberg still.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess we were involved in the war, so we would have places that we set up there, were internment camps and whatever prisons.
So NACAM discovered that the camp's entire bread for the camp, where they fed everybody from, came from a single bakery in Nuremberg, which was perfect for them. You know, they didn't have to go to a bunch of different bakeries and try to infiltrate. There was just one single bakery.
Okay.
So a NACAM member named Lepke Distel, a survivor of several Nazi concentration camps, took on the task of getting the job at the shop, saying he was waiting for a visa and would work for free for exchange of shelter and food, which was successful. Not wanting to hurt any of the U.S. soldiers, they went into a more investigative research to figure out that on Sundays the black bread, which I didn't know that was a thing, but the black bread would only be eaten by the German prisoners because the U.S. soldiers only ate white bread.
Wait, is black bread like when you go to Cheesecake Factory and you get like the pumpernickel loaf and the sourdough loaf?
Exactly.
I was just thinking about that job interview with the guy at the bread factory. He's like, I got one bugaboo. He's like, you got the job. He's like, I got one bugaboo. I really like to paint the bread with my paintbrush. And he's like, what? He's like, it's just kind of my thing. It won't taste like nothing. I promise. Ask the cat.
It's just butter. But it only goes on the black bread.
It's my butter. I'm trying to sell it on my Etsy account. I want people to get a taste, but not get too much.
No.
You gotta spread it thin.
It's gonna get on hot ones, I tell you.
Here's the hottest hot sauce. It's called poison. Sean, eat that. Eat that, Sean Evans.
So they planned around that, only poisoning the black bread on Saturday night. And just like last time, the officials were tipped off that something was about to go down, and the officials captured a few of the NACAM rebellion, but not all of them. After several days of sneaking the poison in using boots and other clothing to conceal it, naturally, right when it was all about to go down, several of the bakers went on strike, pushing the attack back and only allowing the Nakam group to poison 3,000 loaves instead of their planned 14,000 loaves.
Whoa, still, that's a lot of loaves.
Yeah. So on the 23rd of April, the New York Times reported that 2,283 German prisoners of war had fallen ill from poisoning, with 207 hospitalized being seriously ill. However, the operation was never confirmed to kill any of the Nazi soldiers.
Oh no, they fucked up the poison, or did the bread counteract it?
So after the incident, it was discovered that the amount of poison that they put on the bread was enough to kill 60,000 people, and it is still unknown why it was not successful.
Really?
It is, yeah. Could have killed 60,000 people for how much poison they used.
It must have been something in the bread.
Well, they believe it could have been, the poison might have been spread too lightly on the bottom of the loaves, because they would hide on the bottom, or the prisoners caught on and stopped eating the bread before it was too late. So they might not have ingested enough.
Like maybe the 207 who are severely hospitalized like ate the most of it, and then they're like, don't eat the bread, and then I don't know. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So that's the story of the original Avengers, which ended up being a lot less high-tech super suits and lightning hammers forged by gods, and a lot more of Jewish people painting poison onto bread.
Oh my god. That's wild. That's crazy. I mean, I'm glad they didn't kill 6 million innocent people. I'm kind of upset that the bread didn't kill them. But I'm not gonna root for death. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
You gotta. I feel like Indiana Jones walking through the Temple of Doom, stepping on the right things right now. I don't know what to say. I just drank from the chalice. I just turned into a skeleton. I just exploded on the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end it
Good
there.
night plan.
So thank you guys for listening. We always appreciate it when you do, and we love telling you these stories. If you guys want any more information, you could go to our Instagram at Camp Strange Podcast, and you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter. If you guys want some merch, go into the Instagram link in the bio. You can go check out our merch there. If you guys want to send us an email, you send it to campstrangepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to rate, review, and subscribe, you could do that on Apple Podcasts, or check us out on Pandora, Spotify, wherever. I think that's it. Right, David?
Yep.
Do we have anything else?
I don't know. Do we?
I think we do. What do I see over there? Oh, I see a rat near my wife's bed.
All right.
I'm not going to do anything about it.
I've got a husk of a man.
See if I can get a lucky bite tonight. Would you say you have a husk of a man?
Yep.
Ooh,
It's just a shell.
I have corn of a man. What's in the corn? What's in that corn?
What's in the corn? Is it Freak on a Leash? I got Freak on a Leash.
I have a sharp knife, and you're on a big, circly, spinny thing, and I'm going to spin you, and I'm going to throw those knives. And guess what? I haven't been practicing.
Yeah? All right.
I'm a carnival guy.
I got a big box of paper straws that are going to fall apart in your drink 2 minutes after you put it in.
I have a pair of overalls where one's always undone because it's more fashionable that way.
You literally can't buckle it. There's no buckle.
No buckle.
I got zipperless denim jeans.
I have a coloring book and it's already filled in. Sorry.
I have a whole gas planet.
Farts?
No, just like Saturn. It's just gas.
Okay, let's end it there because I don't have anything else. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys listening. We love telling you these stories. David, do you have anything to say before we leave these fine people?
Remember that hand sanitizer only works for so long. You've got to do a hard reset, wash your hands with soap and nice warm water. I think it's after like is it like the fifth time using hand sanitizer, it doesn't even work no more until you do a real wash.
Is
So
that a
wash
thing?
your hands. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
there you go.
And-
And wear your fucking mask.
And don't forget to stay strange.